going to read the book, What Miss Mitchell Saw, and it's by Hayley Barrett, and it's illustrated by Diana Sudka. So I love the cover of this. Look how pretty that is. And if you look at the title page here, where it says What Miss Mitchell Saw, I wonder if that gives us any clue as to what she saw. Have to see. On the first day of August, in a house tucked away on the fog-wrapped island of Nantucket, a baby girl was born. So Nantucket's actually on the Atlantic Ocean. Like all babies, this baby was given a name. Her parents whispered it to her like a gentle breeze. Mariah. At first, little Mariah knew only her mother and father, her older brother and sister, and the simple rooms of home. But as she grew, Mariah came to know her islands. She rambled its gull-dappled dunes. See the dunes, the sand dunes and the gulls. She breathed the fragrance of its wild roses. She listened to the creak of whale ships come to harbor, laden with heavy barrels and homesick boys. She knew the ships by name, the Anne, the Independence, the Washington. Just by looking at these pictures, it looks like this is not a current story. This looks like it happened a long time ago. I've seen ships like this, but they're all like recreations. So I don't think there's a lot of those coming back. And just the way she's dressed and everything. Mariah lived near town and often walked the long hill of Main Street down to the crowded wharves and back up the grand brick edifice of the Pacific Bank. Along the way, she passed the bustle of many shops. She knew the shopkeepers by name. It's just Polly Burnell, Betsy Carey, Eliza Riddle. Yeah, I don't think that looks like what many women dress like today. So this is definitely a long time ago. At home, Mariah was trusted with tasks, large and small. Schoolwork did not always come easily, but she studied with determination. I like that. I think sometimes we always assume that other people have it easy, and things are only tough for us, but really we all have things that are tough for us. So even me, I've had school that's not easy for me and some that is. So, I like that determination, never giving up. So, all right, okay, back to the story. Mother took note of Mariah's steady ways. When her husband sought someone to assist him as he observed the night sky, Mother said to Mariah, "Thee is the one to help Father." So she is the one to help Father, this one. So Mariah and her father climbed up the steep attic stairs to the walkway on their rooftop, high above Nantucket town. Together they gazed at the night sky that cupped their island like a vast black bowl. So that's cool. They can go up on top of their house and be able to look at the night sky over Nantucket. And remember, I said that's on the Atlantic Ocean, so they have a wonderful view of that sky too. Father taught Maria to use a telescope. He taught her to sweep the sky carefully, bit by bit, as thoroughly as she would sweep a room for Mother. So, if you think about, like, if you sweep, you do every part, of the floor. This would be sweeping the sky, looking at every part of the sky. He liked to say, "Thee must wonder, thee must watch closely, then thee will see and know for thyself." So they're using some language here that maybe we're not familiar with. The whole thee and thy. It's kind of like saying you. So he's saying pretty much like, you must wonder. You must watch closely. Then you will see and know for yourself. So I like that message there because, it's easy to let other people kind of figure things out for us. But, if we're wondering and figuring these things out, it'll make more sense to us and help us understand more. Maria watched and she wondered. She saw for herself and was captivated. From then on, night after night, Maria swept the sky. So remember, she's looking at all the parts. She made fast friends with stars that shone as if punched into the black with a whalebone needle. She knew the stars by name. Got Polaris, Rigel, Spica. Some people I think are just naturals. They love this stuff and they can look up and see it all and understand it. Me, I need a little more training, but hey, we all have to start somewhere, right? She observed planets that glowed as steadily as whale oil lamps. By the way, they keep making references to whale, like a whalebone needle, whale oil lamps. And so the guys came back from whaling. So during this time period, think about it, a whale would provide lots of uses for any person. And if they lived on the ocean, on the Atlantic Ocean, a whale would be a source of food, the oil for the lamp, that would be like their fat or their blubber, the needle made out of bones. So it sounds like, they used all those different parts of a whale as well. So I like how that's kind of connected into this story. So she knew the planets by name. So Mercury, Venus, Saturn. You know them by name too now, don't you? You should. She marveled at the celestial phenomena that arched overhead like whales' sparkling splash. She knew the phenomena by name too. So we have eclipses, aurora borealis, that's the northern lights. A meteor, we know about that. A meteor, like a shooting star. Ship captains home for a while from their whaling relied on the Mitchells to help them navigate. They brought chronometers, costly timepieces made to withstand ocean voyages, to the little house on Vessel Street. So there it is, a chronometer. And there's a whale oil lamp. So these are timepieces used in the ocean. By her father's side, Maria learned to rate the chronometers using sextant and careful calculation. That's a sextant right here. Careful calculation, she determined their accuracy so that sailors at sea might establish their position, and when their arduous work was at end, set a course toward family and Nantucket Town. Maria knew the whalers by name, the Folgers, the Starbucks, and her own brother, Andrew. So these are really some different tools that were used long ago to help find places, navigation, set a course. Today we have GPS, we have things like that, but, these are tools that were used to help people navigate or go through places. So think about like a ship, at night there's no lights, it's super dark, and to be able to find their direction, find their way, they use different tools. For a while, Maria was a teacher, but she intended to advance her own education too. So look, she's teaching. That is not what I look like when I'm teaching. But yeah, so this is much older. So she's got comet, constellation, moon, star. Those kids are so excited to learn. She became a librarian. Her quiet hours at the Athenaeum were devoted to the study of advanced mathematics and celestial navigation. So here she's reading. Via lacted o'er the Milky Way, the Perseids. Earth's centrifugal force. All kinds of stuff there. So she's reading and studying and learning all about that. And year after year, when the day was done and darkness settled over Nantucket, Maria climbed the steep stairs to her rooftop to sweep the sky. One clear October evening, Maria saw something new, a nameless patch of light, bright and blurry, not far from familiar Polaris. A comet. She hurried to tell her father. "But my Mariah," he exclaimed. "Thee must tell the world." Like, you must tell the world. The letter bound for Boston took 2 long days to leave stormy Nantucket. So she's trying to let them know, and it took 2 stormy days to get up to Boston. So Nantucket is in Massachusetts. See how it is on the coast there? So they're trying to share that information. Couldn't send a text message, couldn't send an email, couldn't even make a phone call. So, this time period to share information was very different too. Half a world away, other stargazers scoured the skies. The King of Denmark had pledged a gold medal to any astronomer who discovered a new comet with a telescope. Finding one of these hurtling chunks of ice and gas was a rare feat, and many hoped to win gold and glory. So is that a common thing that they could do? No. So this is Frederick VI. In a grand observatory in Rome, an astronomer priest spotted the same bright bit of light. He immediately sent word to claim the medal. So it sounds like people all over the world wanted to recognize that. I'm sure that Mariah didn't even know that that was a contest or anything. But Mariah had seen the comet first. The letter from Nantucket, dated 2 days before the priest's sighting, slowly made its way across the ocean. It passed hand to hand from the astronomers of Harvard College to the astronomers of England to the astronomers of Denmark. Mariah knew the Harvard astronomers by name. They were family friends. So we had William and George Bond, Sir George Airy, Astronomer Royal of Britain, Professor Enric Schmucker of the Altona Observatory. She had not met the others, but knew them by name as well. When these men of science considered the dilemma of who ought to rightfully claim the medal, Mariah swept the sky. While they scrutinized the letter from Nantucket, Mariah swept the sky. While they consulted the astronomer priest of Rome, Mariah swept the sky. She's always looking for stuff, isn't she? She's always looking. She's always wondering. At long last, they concurred, or reached a conclusion, and affirmed Miss Mitchell's discovery. And so the heavy gold medal made its way across the ocean to Boston, to Nantucket, and to Maria's steady hand. The King of Denmark had sent it with his compliments. The medal was inscribed with the name her parents gave her, the name known to shopkeepers, to sea captains, to sailors, and to school children, Mariah Mitchell. Which, by the way, if I would have just looked at that, I would have said Maria. I hope I didn't say Maria in this book, but the way that it was broken up at the beginning definitely was pronunciation for Mariah. So, and it bore the motto, meaning it had the motto on it. Do not in vain do we watch the setting and the rising of the stars. So basically, she's not doing that for herself, is she? She's doing that because she's interested, because she's wondering, not to win a contest. She's doing that because she wants to. It's her interest. Miss Mitchell saw a comet, and the world saw her. And there's some facts at the end here that I'm going to read to you. It's just a big list. So I'm going to read some of these to you. And it says, the more we see, the more we are capable of seeing. That's by Mariah Mitchell. So a bit more about her. She was an astronomer, educator, and activist. The comet 29-year-old Mariah Mitchell found at 10:30 p.m. on October 1st, 1847, is still known as Miss Mitchell's Comet. Father Francisco de Vico, head astronomer of the Vatican Observatory, identified the same comet on October 3rd, 1847. 3 other astronomers spotted the comet around the same time, but the scientific community agreed that Mariah Mitchell saw it first. So that's really cool because you get to like name things if you discover them. Miss Mitchell's comet, official astronomical name C1847T1, is a non-periodic comet, which means the shape of its orbit indicates that it will never return to our solar system. Some comets can be seen with the naked eye, but many more can be located and observed with the help of telescopes. A telescopic comet, one otherwise too faint or far away to be seen, and can thus be observed and documented, helping to advance cometary science. Mariah Mitchell was the first American astronomer to win the Danish medal, but she was not the first woman to discover a telescopic comet. German astronomer Caroline Herschel possesses that distinction. So how cool is it, though, that, people are discovering those things and they got to name them? Mariah cared little for the international fame that accompanied her discovery. She attended to her work and kept the gold medal in her room. She went on to a distinguished career. Here are some highlights. She was the first woman astronomer employed by the United States government. Beginning in 1849, she computed astronomical tables for the planet Venus for the Nautical Almanac Office. She also made observations for the Coast Survey. She was the first professor hired at the newly founded Vassar Female College, now Vassar College, and she spent nearly the rest of her life teaching astronomy there. Many of her students went on to have notable careers, including Mary Watson Whitney, who became the director of the Vassar Observatory after Professor Mitchell's retirement. Mariah Mitchell was a staunch advocate for equal pay and disputed with Vassar's administration about salary inequities between female and male professors. So those inequities are still being discussed today, but should men be paid more than women? They should be paid equal if they're doing the same job. So it's interesting she did that back then too. She was the first woman elected to the American Academy of Arts and Sciences. Mariah Mitchell co-founded the Association for the Advancement of Women, and she acted as its president from 1874 until 1876. She was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame in 1994, and she was active in efforts to further women's rights, especially the right to vote, and was a lifelong champion of education for women. She was also active in the anti-slavery movement. Like many 19th century Nantucketers, that means somebody who lives in Nantucket, the Mitchells were Quakers, members of the Religious Society of Friends. The Quaker values Mariah Mitchell learned at home and in her community: independent thought, diligence, equality of education for girls and boys, and universal human dignity prepared her to both pursue a remarkable career and to advocate for the rights of others. At that time, some Quakers adopted a plain style of speech to reflect their belief in the equality for all people. They avoided the use of titles and addressed others by their name. They avoided the use of titles and addressed others by name or as thee and thou. So they'd only use your name or thee or thou. Although Mariah Mitchell eventually left the Society of Friends, she employed plain speech, especially with family members, for the rest of her life. Contemporary Quakers continue to affirm the same values. So you might learn about the Quakers a little bit in social studies. They were some of the colonists, and if you ever see Quaker brands, the oatmeal, the guy on the box, he was a Quaker. That was a religious group, still is. So Mariah did not have children of her own, but she was a devoted aunt to her nieces and nephews and a trusted friend to many young people. One of Miss Mitchell's Vassar students named her daughter Mariah Mitchell Champney in admiration of her professor and friends. The Mitchell crater on the moon is named for her, as is asteroid 1455 Mitchella. Mariah Mitchell died on June 28, 1889, at the age of 70. She is buried near where she was born, under the vast black bowl of stars on her quiet island of Nantucket. And here is a note from the author. It says, I live in Massachusetts, so I've been able to visit Nantucket, Mariah Mitchell's island birthplace. Wild roses still scent the breeze, the dunes are still dappled with gulls, and thanks to curator Jason Leonardo Finger, the Mitchell house on Vessel Street still feels like a happy home. The house is a museum now, part of the Mariah Mitchell Association. Visitors can peek into the bedroom where Mariah was born and peer up at the roof walk where she helped her father sweep the skies. Every August 1st, in celebration of Mariah Mitchell's birthday, her royal medal is put on display there for all to admire. I wish I could remember when I first heard of Mariah Mitchell. I expect I read about her as a child, and she stayed with me. Many of my ideas come this way, from snippets of information I read or heard somewhere. They tug at my imagination, maybe for years, until I begin to write. I encourage you to pay attention to interesting snippets of information. Collect them, write them down, let them tug at your imagination. Watch, wonder, and like Mariah Mitchell, become captivated. Then you will see for yourself. And that is the end. I love that. I feel like I have a lot in common with this author. I like her message of, really paying attention, hold on to those snippets of information. I feel like that's something that's helped me in my life too. Sometimes maybe I don't apply the knowledge right away, but at some point I use it. So, I hope that you're paying attention and wondering, just like Miss Mitchell did. All right, that's the end of our book. Rudy says goodbye. Peace.